Here's the first myth. Depending on which direction the camera's facing, the Super Silver dialogue will change. At long last, Super Silver is here, and he is in the middle of Green Hill Zone. And he's got some dialogue. It says, this portal isn't like the others. Only unstable time remains. With the Chaos Emeralds, I can seal it from within. But what happens if we run up to him? If you look this way, this is the dialogue. And then if you look that way, that is the dialogue. So the rift is holding for now. So I don't know why it does this. If you kind of look, there is 2 text bubbles, but it looks like that myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. Eggman's dialogue will change if you are silver. So oftentimes in Sonic Speed Simulator, you might come across Dr. Eggman in the open world. Let's say, for example, you're a character like Silver the Hedgehog, and then you walk up and approach him. He'll say something like this. You there, you're one of Sonic's pals, right? You'll make for a good test run. But then, let's say if you switch to a character like Sonic, for example. You go up to him and he'll say, if it isn't the little blue pest, I got a special challenge for you, and this time I'll be victorious. During the Super Silver event, Eggman is in Green Hill Zone, and he does have dialogue. So we will approach him, and he says... What does he say? Silver, you did it. You sealed the time meter. The future is safe. Now I can get back to planning how I'll rule it. Okay, now what happens if we're a different character? Well, let's walk up as Sonic, and it says, Silver, you did it. You sealed the time meter. The future is safe. Now I can get back to planning how I'll rule it. So the dialogue does not change, but I think there's plausible deniability because Silver is standing right next to him, so I guess it still works. Myth is busted. Here's the next myth. In Cool Edge, there are enemies that have destructible collision physics. So the Cool Edge world introduced some interesting enemies such as these snowmen, as well as these reindeers, but it seems like there's more to these things than meets the eye. So like what happens if we run into them, right? Nothing interesting happens. I'm not really sure, right? Like boom. Yeah, nothing really. But hold up. If you go into the settings, there's a random setting. Let's find it right here. Enable destruction physics. Let's turn it on. Now, let's go find a snowman. All right, we got a reindeer over here. Let's see what happens now if we run into him. Oh, yeah, look at that. It actually does take out the reindeer. Can we do it on foot? Oh, yeah, it looks like we're able to do it on foot, too. How about extreme gear? Oh, yeah, it does it, too. So you may not remember this, but these destruction physics were introduced in the Sonic Speed Simulator LEGO event and have since not been possible to do in the game up until now. Looks like that myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. In Cool Edge, there's an invisible grind rail. Okay, so allegedly there's a secret grind rail. Don't know how we're going to find that if it's invisible. Okay, here we go. Let's go like right over here. And there it is. An invisible grind rail, for whatever reason, is in the middle of Cool Edge. I wonder if that maybe has something to do with... I really couldn't think of anything. Maybe the time trials? Myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. Super Silver can pick up enemies. So when Super Silver was introduced, I figured he would have some type of cool abilities. In the Super Silver boss fight, it was a mechanic that Silver could actually launch stuff at the time meter. Clearly, this in-game ability was a direct nod to Silver's abilities to use telekinesis to fling objects at the enemies in Sonic 06, presumably to showcase how impressive the physics engine of Sonic 06 was. So yeah, it might be a minigame mechanic, but what happens after you unlock the character and use them in the open world? So right here, you will see that Silver is surrounded by a group of badniks. All you have to do to activate this ability is walk up to them, jump, press the Y button, and we were able to take all of the badniks, and there are these like little things floating around Silver. Now we can run up to badniks and start shooting them with the projectiles. Pretty sick, right? It looks like that myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. ESP Silver is as fast as Super Silver. ESP Silver was the first ever quote-unquote Super Silver skin, and he had the ability to fly. But now that the real Super Silver's in the game, and both of these characters are super rarity, let's see if they have the same exact speed. First up, we got Super Silver. What is his speed topping out at? Like 523? Now we swap over to ESP Silver, and his speed tops out at like 375? So it looks like they do not go at the same speed, despite being the same rarity. Myth is busted. Here's the next myth. In Eggman's boss battle, Silver can intercept Eggman's lasers. So in this boss battle, you already know that Eggman does have an ability where he mass fires out individual missiles. In the Silver boss battle, you were able to intercept the Time Eater's missiles, so maybe it can work in the actual Eggman boss battle. All right, but here we go. Here comes the missiles. And does it work? I'm trying to get them. Yeah, that was probably my best chance. and it doesn't look possible. What a missed opportunity. The myth is busted. Here's the next myth. Super Silver cannot fly in the racing world. Okay, so let's enter into the racing hub, jump up and try to fly. And yo, he can actually fly here. I'm surprised about that, actually. It looks like that myth is busted. Here's the next myth. Super Silver will be slowed down by the water in Green Hill. So bonus myth, it's been determined that Super Silver can walk on water. And while he's on the water, what's his top speed? Like 550 miles an hour or something like that. What happens if we go into the water in Green Hill? All right, so you see that we're in the water right now, and if we run on it, for whatever reason, my top speed right now is 256 with a full boost. So for whatever reason, that myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. Like Supersonic, Super Silver can float. So if you play Supersonic, there is a feature that was added not too long ago that if you jump up, press the RB button, Supersonic can now fly. He can also descend, and he can also just chill. He can basically fly around at a fixed height. But take a look at Super Shadow. If you jump up and press the RB button or the LB button, he cannot fly or descend. But what about Super Silver? We got Super Silver. Let's jump up, and it looks like he can float, descend. He can stay in midair in place. And it looks like Super Shadow is the only lame super skin that cannot fly. Haha. Everyone point and laugh at him. Look at him. He's falling all the way down to the ground. The myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. You cannot defeat enemies with the Snowball emote. Earlier this month, we got this emote right here, which allows your player to throw snowballs. Take a look at this other Super Silver in the lobby. Let's test out the coolest case use of this ability. Let's see what happens if we run up to him, equip the Snowball emote, and throw it at him. And yeah, he goes flying. That's crazy. You're telling me that this character is invincible to monsters like the Time Eaters, but he's not invincible to snowballs? Is that another myth busted? So, does this have an effect on badniks? Found a couple of them over here. This is the POV of a badnik that's about to get destroyed. All right, let's use the emote and let's throw the snowball. And wow, you can actually kill them with a snowball. The myth is busted. Here's the next myth. Super Silver cannot fly in races. So back when we started doing these myth busters and super skins were first added into the game, it was an established fact that super skins could not fly in races. We've seen some recent adjustments to the super skins over the last couple of months, so let's see if this is still the case. First thing I'm going to do is pop into the Metal Harbor action race. Let's equip Super Silver, and it looks like we can officially fly in races for the first time. Not sure why this was added. Doesn't this kind of make it a little cheap to be a super skin? Can he ascend and descend? No, he can't do that, but he can do like the original boosting fly, so it looks like that myth is busted. They finally added flying to super skins in the races. In Cool Edge, there is a reference to Sonic 4 Episode 2 concept art. Sonic 4 Episode 2 is often considered to be the more improved version of the Sonic 4 duology. And in 2012, the official Sonic the Hedgehog Facebook account showcased this concept art right here of the breakable snowman, which looks pretty similar to Eggman. So is this deep cut Easter egg in Cool Edge? Let's fly around this map and figure it out. I think I see a cave down below here. So let's descend and let's fly in, and would you look at that right there? This is identical to the Sonic 4 Episode 2 concept art. The myth is confirmed. Super Silver will automatically shatter the glass in Cool Edge. So you might not know this, but if your character is going slow enough, you will not break the breakable glass in Cool Edge. But we already know that Super Silver is invincible to everything except for snowballs. So what would happen if we slowly approach the glass over here but didn't try to break it, and he automatically breaks it? The myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. Super Silver is faster flying than running. All right, let's start with flight first. Okay, let's jump up, let's fly, let's boost. And what do we top out at with our speed? That is 523 miles per hour, I guess. Now we swap over to the ground and let's go. What do we get? Oh, we're getting way faster. Oh man, well, I hit the water, but yeah, we're hitting like 554 on a straightaway. So the myth that Super Silver flies faster than he runs is actually busted. That's pretty surprising. Here's the next myth. You must use the badniks in order to get projectiles for Super Silver. So we know that if we go to a pack of badniks and we press the Y button to like bunch them all up, we will gain multiple projectiles. And we know that cluster of like machine parts kind of like symbolizes that. But if you go up to the badniks and you just run into them and kill them, you will still gain the projectiles. So you don't actually need to bunch them all up. It looks like that myth is busted. Here's the next myth. There are 2 hidden golden Sonic statues in the new Silver update. Over the years, one of our national pastimes in Sonic Speed Simulator was finding these random hidden golden Sonic statues. It's been in several different updates. In the Super Silver update, if you head into the Temporal Rift and you fly near the Time Eater, guess what you'll see? That's right, a golden Sonic statue, of course. But where in the world is the other Golden Sonic statue. Most of you probably will not find it. Unless, of course, you swap over to Super Silver, you find a group of badniks, and then from there, use Silver's ability. And now, if you pause and look really closely at the cluster of leftover Speed Sim assets, you will notice a mini Golden Sonic statue, so the myth is confirmed. Cool Edge, there's an area modeled exactly after the hub world in Sonic Unleashed. So we're currently in one of the most magical Sonic games of all time, and that is Sonic Unleashed. Argue with a wall. This is the Holaska hub world. If you take a look at this area right here, you'll see the igloos. You'll see like a little grind rail kind of thing over here. Also, by the way, you'll see the same exact reindeer and snowmen. But if you take a look kind of at this like circular enclosed area and also this like wraparound staircase kind of thing, we now have a distinct visual of what this looks like in Unleashed. So in Speed Sim, if you head over to this area right here, you'll see 1, 2, 3 igloos. You'll see this wraparound kind of staircase-ish kind of thing over here. You'll see the snowman, but where's the reindeer? Okay, there's a couple of details that they missed, but you got the fire pit over here. You also have the little grind rail. I would say it's pretty accurate. You know, it's modeled clearly after that area, so I think the myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. The Time Eater will not move if you do not move in the Super Silver boss fight. All right, step 1, pop into the temporal rift. So we're in the Super Silver boss fight. Let's get close to the Time Eater. And if Silver stays stationary, the Time Eater does not move. He just stands there. It's kind of interesting. It's like one giant aura farm from our futuristic hedgehog Silver. The myth is confirmed. Here's the next myth. You cannot injure Eggman using Silver's powers. All right, so let's take out these generators over here to make his shield go down. And now we'll go up to Eggman with his shield's vulnerable. We'll jump up. We'll press the Y button and it actually hurts him. Like you can steal his scrap metal to injure him. It looks like that myth is busted. Here's the next myth. Super Silver can't go into the trading hub. So let's swap over to Super Silver. There is the trading hub. We walk into the trading hub, and if you take a look at my screen, I'm in the game. I'm looking at my screen right here and it's completely blank. So it seems to be broken. And we know that this is Super Silver exclusive because if you go into the trading hub with a different character, and it looks like it works, but look what happens when we swap over to Super Silver. Ready? Boom. My screen goes black and... Okay, am I the only one that's experiencing this? Is it just me? Listen, they're obviously going to eventually fix this, but at the time I made this video, the myth is confirmed.